Jeanne Theoharis, The Rebellious Life of Mrs. Rosa Parks. Embark on a journey through the impactful life of civil rights icon Rosa Parks in the summary of The Rebellious Life of Mrs. Rosa Parks by Jeanne Theoharis. Discover the courage of a woman who challenged racial segregation, her unwavering resolve to fight for equality, and her undying spirit that inspired generations. This summary provides a detailed account of Rosa's life, going beyond the famous bus incident of 1955, and highlighting her enduring activism, commitment to justice, and struggles against racism and prejudice.
Dissecting Jeanne Theoharis. Dive into the brilliant insights of Jeanne Theoharis, an award-winning author and historian renowned for her thoughtful analysis of civil rights movements in the United States. With a unique perspective on the lesser-known stories and unheard voices, Theoharis sheds light on the broader implications and significance of resistance in shaping the course of history. As you delve into her work, you'll uncover the intricacies and complexities of the civil rights movement and appreciate the resilience, courage, and spirit of those who fought for change. Inherited resilience against injustice. Born on February 4, 1913, in Tuskegee, Alabama, Rosa Parks was raised by her mother, Leona Edwards, after her father James McCauley left the family. Strongly influenced by her grandparents who had been slaves, Rosa inherited their determination to challenge racism. Despite being shy and well-behaved, young Rosa displayed an incredible resilience against injustice, even if it meant risking punishment due to racial prejudice. Rosa Louise McCauley, later known as Rosa Parks, was born into a family that carried the weight of a harrowing history. Her parents, Leona Edwards and James McCauley, both experienced the repercussions of a racially segregated society in Alabama. After her father left while she was still young, Rosa's mother became her strongest influence, instilling in her a sense of self-worth and equal value as any other person. Growing up under the shadow of her grandparents' experiences of slavery, Rosa absorbed their stories and the values they carried. Her grandfather, a son of a slave owner, had encountered his fair share of violence and adversity due to his mixed heritage. His resilience in the face of adversity and his unrelenting stand against racism left a profound mark on Rosa's character. Rosa's upbringing led her to develop an innate resilience against injustice, even as a young child. Although she was generally shy, soft-spoken, and focused on her education, she would not hesitate to defend herself against oppression. At the age of 11, living in Montgomery, Alabama, Rosa faced racial discrimination head-on. When a white boy pushed her off the sidewalk, she pushed back, demonstrating her unwillingness to accept unjust treatment. This incident was only a small glimpse into the bravery and resilience that Rosa would exhibit throughout her life. Despite living in a world that sought to suppress her spirit, Rosa's upbringing and inherited resilience against injustice shaped her into a woman that would later challenge and change the course of history through her courageous acts. Unveiling Rosa Parks' origins. Rosa Parks' journey towards civil rights activism started during her teenage years when she dropped out of school to support her family. Working as a housekeeper in white homes, she experienced firsthand the depths of segregation and its psychological effects on the black community. After meeting her activist husband, Raymond Parks, Rosa was inspired to join the fight for a better future. Their activism involved working on high-profile cases like the Scottsboro Boys, facing risks from the police and the KKK. When Rosa Parks withdrew from school in 11th grade to support her ailing mother and grandmother, she started working as a housekeeper in white homes. This experience gave her a deeper understanding of segregation's malignancy in the Jim Crow South and its impact on black women. Treated as lesser beings, they were subject to exploitation without any recourse. Rosa also observed how segregation and pervasive white supremacist thinking eroded the black community's hope. Many believed that challenging white oppression was an insurmountable and deadly task. However, Raymond Parks, Rosa's future husband, held a different perspective. A voracious reader and an activist, Raymond participated in the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, NAACP, and facilitated political debates in his barbershop. Rosa, after meeting Raymond at 18, discovered the importance of uniting people to fight for a brighter future. Rosa and Raymond Parks married on December 18, 1932, and with his encouragement, she obtained her high school diploma. Her first exposure to community activism came through Raymond's involvement in the Scottsboro Boys case, an infamous injustice involving 9 black youths falsely accused of rape by 2 white women. Consequently, the teenagers faced wrongful conviction and capital punishment. Rosa aided the Scottsboro Boys by hosting meetings, fundraising, and growing familiar with civil rights activists' efforts. However, she also glimpsed the dangerous side of this work. Supporting cases like the Scottsboro Boys attracted the unwanted attention of the police and the Ku Klux Klan, often inciting threats of violence. Many activists, including Rosa, had to take up arms for protection, while the police kept a watchful eye on their homes. Nonetheless, Rosa refused to back down and took the courageous step of attending NAACP meetings despite her lower-income background and the challenges it presented. By exploring Rosa Parks' early years, we learn that her path towards activism was fraught with personal sacrifice and risk. Her dedication to challenging injustice and protecting the futures of others laid the foundation for a lifetime of fighting for civil rights. Bus rebellion sparks change. Long before the infamous Rosa Parks incident, the residents of Montgomery, Alabama, were fighting against racial segregation on buses. Daily injustices, such as being forced to give up seats to white passengers and use the back door, ignited acts of defiance from black passengers. From Viola White in 1944 to Claudette Colvin in 1955, black individuals resisted oppressive bus regulations, contributing to eventual legal challenges against Jim Crow laws. Rosa Parks, understanding the importance of involving youth in fighting for equality, mentored Colvin and led initiatives like the NAACP Youth Council. In Montgomery, Alabama, racial segregation on buses was an affront to decency, with the law overtly favoring white passengers. Black individuals were forced to sit at the back of the bus and give up their seats to white passengers whenever necessary. Further adding insult to injury, black passengers sometimes had to pay their fare at the front, exit, and re-enter using the back door, only for the bus to drive away before they could board. Several black passengers took a stand against these injustices as early as the 1940s. Viola White, in 1944, was arrested for refusing to relinquish her seat and was further assaulted when her daughter faced brutal police retaliation. In 1950, World War II veteran Hilliard Brooks met a tragic end as he was clubbed and shot by a police officer for resisting reboarding at the back of the bus. A pivotal moment occurred on March 2, 1955, when 15-year-old Claudette Colvin staunchly declined to give up her seat, having studied the U.S. Constitution and recognizing the unlawful discrimination. Though handcuffed and dragged away by the police, her case offered hope due to the prior U.S. Supreme Court ruling in Brown v. Board of Education, which declared racial segregation in schools illegal. Despite the potential of Colvin's case to challenge more Jim Crow laws, it received minimal support, partly because she was an unpredictable teenager and later because of her pregnancy. Rosa Parks, the woman who would later become synonymous with bus desegregation, supported Colvin during these challenging times. Parks recognized the importance of engaging young people in the pursuit of equality and actively mentored Colvin. Moreover, she spearheaded initiatives such as the NAACP Youth Council in Montgomery, focused on ensuring the next generation could effectively combat the violence and oppression they faced. Despite the daily indignities experienced, the collective bravery of individuals like Viola White, Hilliard Brooks, and Claudette Colvin laid the groundwork for Rosa Parks' notable act of defiance, propelling the struggle against racial segregation on buses and signaling a new chapter in the fight for equality. Debunking Rosa Parks myths. The account of Rosa Parks refusing to give up her bus seat due to tired feet has been perpetuated for years. However, the reality is that her defiance was fueled by the injustice surrounding Emmett Till's murder, and it wasn't an immediate sensation. Rosa Parks went quietly to jail, but her case resonated with fellow activists who rallied around her, eventually leading to a successful bus boycott. Martin Luther King Jr. emerged as a powerful speaker during the boycott, galvanizing the community despite numerous challenges and hardships. On December 1, 1955, Rosa Parks refused to surrender her bus seat to a white passenger. Contrary to the popular belief that her tired feet led to this defiant act, it was the brutal murder of Emmett Till that weighed on her mind. Days before the bus incident, Rosa attended a meeting at the Dexter Avenue Baptist Church in Montgomery, where Martin Luther King Jr. spoke about seeking justice for Emmett Till. Instead of being an instant, widely supported sensation, Rosa's arrest was quiet and uneventful. She was bailed out by E.D. Nixon, a local NAACP leader, and by white supporters, Clifford and Virginia Durr. Soon, activists saw Rosa's case as an opportunity to challenge the injustice of segregation. Under the leadership of Rosa's attorney, Fred Gray, and Joe and Robinson of the Women's Political Council in Montgomery, a one-day bus boycott was planned. This time, the boycott caught on, aided by Nixon's media connections and alarmist reports. As Rosa stood before the court, the black community demonstrated unity and support by refusing to take the bus. The boycott continued, riding on the momentum and the inspirational speeches of Martin Luther King Jr. Despite facing threats and violence, Rosa Parks and King's families persevered. In 1956, the U.S. Supreme Court declared Montgomery's segregated busing illegal, bringing the boycott to a triumphant end. Rosa Parks, beyond the bus. Despite facing constant challenges, Rosa Parks continued to fight for civil rights in the hostile environment of the northern U.S. Her unwavering devotion to combating inequality, her exceptional strength in times of personal and public tragedy, and her insatiable curiosity to expand her horizons, demonstrated her dedication to creating a better world. The end of segregated busing in Montgomery didn't bring relief to the Park family or an end to Montgomery's turmoil. Even as they endured attacks, illness, and unemployment, the family eventually migrated to Detroit, Michigan to seek better opportunities. However, the northern city was similarly plagued by racism and inequality, especially in the housing and job markets. Despite the difficulties, some positive developments began to unfold for the Parks family. Rosa's hospital bill was covered by the NAACP after the news of her plight spread, and Raymond later resumed his career as a barber. Rosa reignited her political activism, joining local churches and the River Rouge chapter of the NAACP. In 1963, she participated in the Great Walk of Freedom through Detroit and attended the landmark March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom. Unfortunately, the crucial role women played in the civil rights movement was often overshadowed by male-led events. Rosa and other influential women like Josephine Baker faced marginalization during these significant marches. However, during the 1965 march from Selma to Montgomery, Rosa was finally given a chance to address the crowd when she returned to her home state. The New Yorker described her as the First Lady of the movement, receiving the loudest applause of the day. Back in Detroit, Rosa found a new opportunity with the newly elected Congressman John Conyers, who appointed her to a community outreach position. The 1960s and 70s proved difficult for Black Americans as they experienced unfathomable losses, such as the assassinations of Malcolm X and Martin Luther King Jr. Despite these hardships, Rosa remained steadfast in her support of the Black Power movement, the Black Panthers, and prison reform. As she aged, she continued to expand her knowledge and experiences by exploring disciplines like yoga, Buddhism, and meditation. 10 years after her husband's death, she founded the Rosa and Raymond Parks Institute for Self-Development in 1987. Her concern for human rights went beyond the United States, as she also contributed to ending apartheid in South Africa. Rosa even had the memorable opportunity to meet Nelson Mandela in 1990. Throughout her later years, she received numerous accolades, such as the Presidential Medal of Freedom, presented by President Bill Clinton. After her passing in 2005, President George W. Bush called for a commemorative statue of Rosa to be placed in the Capitol, which was finally unveiled by President Barack Obama in 2013. Although Rosa is often remembered as the "tired bus lady," her legacy encompasses much more than that singular event. Rosa Parks' relentless passion for progress, despite her struggles and the issues she fought for remaining unresolved, highlights the unyielding spirit and necessity of activists like her.
In summary, The Rebellious Life of Mrs. Rosa Parks unveils the lesser-known aspects of Rosa Parks' life as a tireless civil rights activist. The book reveals her tenacious fight against racial injustice beyond the 1955 bus incident, her struggles throughout her life, and her unwavering commitment to empowering the Black community. The story showcases Rosa as not just the tired bus lady, but as a remarkable figure who took a stand against racial inequality and ignited a movement that would change the United States forever. Rosa Parks' inspirational story is a testament to her courage and persistence, and serves as a beacon of hope and change for generations to come.